is still with us. Last block of Kababayan, LA, and I must say, very informative yet very confusing also. You know, that's why we need lawyers to explain to us what's what and what's happening. Earlier, Allison, we got a phone call saying na yung kaibigan niya na-deport pero may bata, may naiwan dito na US citizen, and you were saying pwedeng kumuha ng waiver. If they're in the Philippines, they can get a waiver and see if they can come back before the 10-year bar. But my question is, what if somebody lives here, does a voluntary departure, but then has a little child or a young daughter here? So what happens?
Well, unfortunately, as far as the immigration is concerned, they consider that to be a parental choice. And the parental choice is either to go ahead and leave the child here in the United States under the care of perhaps another family member, grandparent, whoever, you know, the parent feels would take care of the child.
Right.
Because they are U.S. citizen and they are entitled to remain in the United States.
But not the parent.
But not the parent.
Oh.
And alternatively, it's the parental choice of if they don't want to be separated from their child who is entitled to remain, they can go ahead and bring the child with them back to the Philippines.
Okay. You know, there's so many things that we need to consider when we are in this situation. And like what was emphasized earlier by Karina, you have to be careful. If you're only a green card, even if you are a green card holder, you are an immigrant, you're still deportable. Pero Karina, it changes once you get your U.S. citizenship, right?
Yes.
Yes. That's why, Allison, would you advise that they take it right? Some people delay. Some people, they've been here 40 years, 20 years, they don't have time, so they just delay. And then they find themselves in that situation and, you know, it's too late, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. It is important to apply for your U.S. citizenship, I would say, as early as possible, just because you do never know when the laws will change. And, you know, for example, in the criminal context, there were individuals who would plead guilty or be convicted of crimes back in the 80s and 90s that did not subject them to deportation proceedings. But throughout the years, there have been changes in the criminal laws which have now made their very old crime subject to deportation.
Right.
So there may be those same type of changes, and in a global society, you just never know how the U.S. is going to perhaps
And for those of you who want to get in touch with attorney Allison Aquino, we are going to put the number up on the screen later. So call them. They do give free consultation. It has to be an office consultation, face-to-face consultation. If you want to do phone or email, they do charge for that. But Karina, with that said, I'm sure you have a lot of clients that are in this same situation. Ano yung mga mistakes nila that, you know, you can share with us para we know what not to do?
Well, first, because we're talking about that, right, a lot of them were eligible for citizenship. They don't do that.
Right.
The second one is they're not advised as well as they should have been, because I mean, they don't hire the right attorney, they don't hire a smart attorney,
right,
you know, bluntly said. Or they don't know they have a right to have a Tagalog or Ilocano or Pangasinan interpreter in court with them, and they don't have to pay that. Yes, there's a higher level of constitutional rights in the criminal arena, I would say, than in a lot of our civil cases. I mean, you know, just the right to have a good attorney, you're protected under the Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, 8th Amendment, and the 14th Amendment.
Ang dami nun.
Yeah. Those are your constitutional rights.
So I guess let's end the show by asking Allison, how do we pick the right attorney? Especially if you find yourself in that situation, you need two attorneys, a criminal lawyer and an immigration lawyer. How do you pick a good attorney?
Well, first of all, you need to find an attorney.
Okay.
And unfortunately, in the Filipino community, there are too many paralegals, too many unlicensed attorneys who take advantage of other Filipinos.
There are.
Absolutely.
Oh.
And that is what I've found to be the fastest way to get yourself in trouble. And then you have to hire an attorney who has to clean up the mess, and it becomes much more difficult. With respect to finding a good attorney, certainly contact the state bar. You need to check out oftentimes as Filipinos too, we're a little bit timid to ask.
And then maybe we can ask each other, get referrals and all of that. Thank you for joining us today, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Howard's has withstood the national chain explosion thanks to its loyal customers and amazing products. Howard's is your stainless steel appliance headquarters, from everything you need